And we are live! Eu vou falar em português agora, mas hoje eu tenho um convidado especial. A gente tem um convidado internacional aqui na live de hoje. E hoje a gente vai falar sobre push notification, que é um assunto que é bem procurado aqui no canal. Então, para esse assunto específico, nada mais que melhor que um convidado que trabalha na oneSignal. E eu estou falando do Patricio Vargas, que trabalha na oneSignal como Developer Advocate, e ele tem várias palestras sobre o assunto, é um especialista no assunto, então nada mais que um especialista sobre o assunto para vir aqui no canal falar sobre push notification. Então, boa noite aí para todo mundo aí que está assistindo a live hoje, dá um oi aí, dá um alô, e vamos agora adicionar o nosso convidado. Hey, Pato,
Hola, hola.
how are you?
Good. I was able to understand like 80% of what you said.
Yeah. I think that the Brazilian Portuguese for Spanish speakers is easier than the European Portuguese. I don't know. I think the rhythm is kind of helped that. So tell me about yourself.
I go by Pato, like the soccer player from Brazil.
Yeah.
I'm not him, obviously, but I go by him, by Pato. I'm Mexican. I live in the US, and I'm a senior developer advocate for oneSignal, and I'm very involved with the community as well as you. Both of us, we are Google developer experts, and I belong to other programs like the Auth Zero, AWS community community builder. What else? Cloudinary, media developer expert. I even forgot what else. Postman Supernova, and all kind of stuff, right? And I do this because I love helping people, and I love technology. So I just happened to be invited to this community. So I'm pretty excited to be here as well.
Nice. And so, and I saw like last, I think December, that you did a talk about like how to build a plugin as well. So,
yes.
So how was that experience then?
So that was actually my first talking for PHP ever.
Ever.
And it was the first talk that I gave for a meetup in Mexico.
Oh yeah, I saw the PHP Mexico. Yeah.
Yes, it's big community, and it was the first time giving a talk for my country, which is crazy. After all these years, this is the first time that I give one, and around WordPress. And what I did is I taught people how to create a very, very basic plugin for WordPress. You know, the best practices, what you should consider, which is something that you're probably gonna be familiar with because you know the conflicts that AMP and the oneSignal plugin had. I told people about it. So you were actually brought up into the conversation, and it was awesome. I think PHP is super fun, and I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a software engineer. I don't care what technology you tell me to play with. Code is code for me, so I just like enjoy it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have the same as well. I have like I label myself as a front end, but I'm doing things, for example, for PHP, C# and Java. I think that's also an important thing for you to build up like a nice skill. But so your job, I think for my channel is the most like popular ones, like push notifications, and oneSignal is the like to go. And how you start your work with like oneSignal? How was that path, like when you joined the company and when you already knew the idea to be a developer advocate, or you saw that role and you applied for that? How was that?
That's actually a very good question. I always wanted to be a developer advocate, and I was working for a contracting company. I'm sorry, a consulting company here in the US as a software engineer. And I realized that consulting sucks. So I just decided, I said, I'm tired of it. I want to change paths in my career a little bit. So I'm just going to go and try to pursue the developer advocacy path, which is awesome for me because, first of all, I get to write code. And second, I get to help people as well and give talks and all that. So the things that you and I love, And so I applied for a few companies, and almost every company offered me a job, but I decided to go for oneSignal because the interview process was actually very cool. Everyone treated me so nice, and they have great benefits. So I end up landing the job. And at oneSignal, we not only have the WordPress plugin, we handle different technologies like Android, React, iOS, Flutter, you name it. It's like 10 different technologies. So my job was essentially to get, at the beginning, like the first 45 days, was to get familiar with all the plugins or technologies that we were using. So it was a little bit challenging, but interesting at the same time. And then after I, got comfortable with those technologies, then I fully merged or took over the website. So on the web, I just, I do the developer advocacy for NPM packages, for the WordPress plugin, for the Angular side, React, Vue, and so on. So far, it's going to be almost a year. Oh my God, it's actually, I'm going to be working for oneSignal on March the 1st. Is going to be a year.
Whoa. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So next week. Yeah. So that's crazy. The time flew by, and I'm so happy that I'm here. Like, I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. And that's also also an interesting thing, because you started basically in the middle of the pandemic. Like, how was that? Like,
very interesting that you say that, because when I started the job, I was at that moment, I was in Florida. When they offered me the job, they're like, hey, but I needed to move to New York due to tax purposes. And I used to live in New York before, and I was ready to be back in New York. So I was just looking for an excuse to go back. And then finally oneSignal came, and they were like, hey, you have the option to live in Texas, New York, or California. And I said, New York, let's go. Yeah. But it was very interesting because my partner, she was still living in Florida. So I had to go back and forth almost every weekend to Florida just to be with her for a few months. Wow. Yeah, until she was able to transfer her job to New York. But other than that, I love New York City. I'm happy to be back. The job is awesome. I have worked for small companies, big companies, and medium-sized companies. I have done consulting, I have done freelance, and I think what I have liked the most is working for a startup, because I have the capacity to actually make a change in the company and shape the department. For example, I'm the one that has most experience as a developer advocate in the company, right? And now the team has grown, and so I have been able to shape that experience the way I like things done. So I think it's really cool.
Oh, cool, nice. And just and how big is oneSignal now? Like, what is the size of the team?
I think we have 100 employees now.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So it's like growing and growing. Yeah. All the time.
Yeah. And I think the users are like massive. Like do you know what is the biggest chunk of like users that they came from? Because WordPress is like big numbers, but do you know what is the biggest?
I don't exactly know the majority of the users are from the US. Yeah. But there's a huge majority of users that come from Brazil. Yeah. Like massive. Yeah. So it's very, very interesting. Brazil is actually the number one country in Latin America that uses oneSignal by far.
So cool.
So it's very cool, to know that, especially right now that I'm giving this talk in your channel. So I think it's very cool. Yeah. Mexico is growing as well, but definitely Brazil is
big.
far.
Yeah.
On that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because all the websites, I think we're gonna get in those topics, but I think loads of websites, when I get into the website, I get the notification, oh, do you wanna do you wanna sign up for push notification? And I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's the Signal plugin. And we're gonna talk about like best practices and those things, but like do you have something to show today, like for like a quick demo just for we introduce?
Of course. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, okay. I have here.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome. So today I'm gonna tell you guys about push notifications. Let's see. Okay. This is essentially, I'm just gonna talk about the overview, the implementation, and then I'm just gonna have a quick demo and any QAs, so questions and answers. We're gonna have time for that as well. So feel free to ask any questions. I wanna see you guys interrupting me. I don't care. It's 100% fine. Yeah. And well, the overview. So I'm gonna explain, first of all, everyone, what oneSignal is. oneSignal is a market leader in customer engagement. We not only provide the push notification service, we also provide SMS, in-app messages, and emails. We send around 10 billion notifications a day. That's crazy. Whoa. Like 10 billion. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. And around 1.3 million developers use our technologies. So I think this is very, very cool to see that many developers are using our tech. But what is a push notification? Well, a web push notification is a clickable pop-up message that appears on your device, right? The push notifications are super awesome. They actually are available thanks to the push API, which is native to the browser, to newer browsers. So just keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. So essentially, you just a message that appears on your screen or in your device. Could be your mobile device, could be your iPad, could be your Mac, could be whatever. And it will appear usually on the top right if you have a computer, and in your notification center if you have an Android or an iOS device. Well, how do they actually work? Push notifications, like I was telling you, they use the push API. It's free to use. It's part, of your browser available. And the way they work is thanks to the service workers, right? Service workers are essentially a piece of code that lives in the background in your browser. It doesn't live on your website. So that's something that people get confused a lot. They think that the service worker is living on your site. No, it actually lives on the browser. So you can close your website, and even close the browser, and the notification is still going to appear, which is very cool. And essentially, the service worker, what it does, it remains asleep, just taking a nap, and then gets a message from the server, a payload, which in this case the server could be the oneSignal server, and wakes up the service worker and says, "Hey, service worker, there's a notification coming your way. Display it." And then the service worker grabs information from that from that payload that comes from the oneSignal server, and displays that information into the push notification. So that's essentially what you see.
Cool.
So oneSignal, yeah. What you were about to say?
No, I would just and ask about that the push API, because I think for years only Chrome was implement that, and I think we have some preview for Safari now.
Yeah, and I was just literally said what I was about to say. But so if you didn't know, oneSignal, Firebase, or any push notification provider wasn't supporting push notifications for Safari in iOS devices. If you had a Mac, no problem, you getting a push notification. I'm actually demoing from a Mac right now. But if you had an iPhone and you wanted to receive a push notification through Safari, it wasn't possible. A lot of people would say, "Oh, easy fix. I'm going to install Google Chrome on my iPhone." Guess what? Yes, you can install Google Chrome, you can install Firefox, you can install whatever you want, but you're still not going to be able to receive push notifications, and this is the why. Google Chrome, Firefox, or any other browser that wants to live or wants to be installed inside of an iPhone is actually a wrapper of Safari. So in the background, you're using Safari. So if you are not able to get notifications in Safari, you're still not going to be able to get them in Google Chrome or Firefox or wherever. But good news, everyone. Like you were mentioning, there's a beta for push notifications to be supported in Safari. So that's super exciting news. I think that's like the best news I have heard this year. So I'm pretty excited for that. It's crazy. This is a game changer.
Yeah, definitely.
So now, well, oneSignal has different ways of being used. They have an npm package for React. They have an npm package for Angular, Vue, and iOS, and so on, right? But also, oneSignal supports a WordPress. We actually have a plugin, and thanks to that plugin, you're able to customize the notification, set up the notification, and receive the notification on your website. So what are some of the benefits of the notifications? In my personal point of view, notifications are more than just a message that appears on your screen. Notifications can help you increase the user experience of your application, of your website. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean by increasing the user experience of my site? Well, very simple. Whenever you send a notification, first of all, you can target your users. For example, I can target my users in Brazil, I can target my users in Mexico, and so on. So I can segment them and personalize the experience of the notification to different countries, right? For example, maybe, I don't know, in Brazil, they have Independence Day. I don't know when is the Independence Day of Brazil. When is it, Philip?
7th of September.
Okay, 7th of September. Maybe you want to target your users to give them a discount on your website because it's Independence Day in Brazil, right? So you can target that. And by the time they click on that push notification, it can open up maybe items that you have on discount or exclusive items for that holiday. So that's how you're personalizing the experience. Another thing that you can do is, for example, maybe you can send a push notification to men and one to women and personalize their shopping experience as well, right? You can do way more things like that. You can notify users when someone has entered their house, if somehow you have developed a security system. That's another use case. What else? You can let people or notify people whenever someone log into their Facebook account, for example, right? So Facebook notifies you, hey, there's someone trying to enter your profile and you're in the US, but someone is trying to enter that in, I don't know, China, right? So you can use push notifications for that. What else? There's like infinite number of ways.
And just one example, for example, can you create levels of users, like groups, and you can send there with oneSignal?
Yes,
like
and
categories.
we call them, yes, we call them segments, right? Those are the segments that I was telling you about. For example, you can even segment people by the device that they are using. For example, you can even target people who are using a Mac, people who are using a Windows. You can even customize or create your own segments. For example, like I was telling you, by country, by Brazil, Mexico, or maybe people who subscribe to your channel, or people who like React, people who like Vue. Of course, that involves a little of logic that you have to put in your application, but that's 100% doable. Because the notifications are the main purpose is for you to target your users and segment your users so you can have a correct marketing campaign or a correct usage of your notification. Another thing that people don't know is that you're actually able to target one single user as well.
So that's a common question at the channel.
Yeah, like a lot of people are like, oh, maybe push notifications are used to, create this marketing campaign and send it to everyone. I can actually just send it to you, Philip. That's it. You can target by users, by email, or wherever, and then you will be the only person getting the notifications, which I think is very, very cool.
Nice.
Do you have more questions so far?
I have just like, for example, about another question that I have here. It is about the WordPress plugin. For example, you mentioned about the service worker. Like the plugin itself has a service worker, or we need like a PWA plugin to have a push notification enabled on WordPress?
Very good question. The WordPress plugin comes with its own service worker. And for those who don't know, Philip and I met because he wrote an email to oneSignal letting us know that there was a conflict between AMP, which is a PWA plugin, and oneSignal. And what was the conflict? The conflict is that oneSignal uses a service worker and AMP uses a service worker as well. And these service workers are independent from each other. And the only way for you can only have one service worker essentially in your website, right? So you need to figure out a way to only have one, to either combine them or do something about it, right? So want to talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Tell us what's up, because you fixed the problem, right? So tell us about it.
Yeah, no, the way that the pull request that we had, we have sent only to check, for example, if the oneSignal is already enabled, don't enable the AMP service worker. And also we did some change for example, that the AMP plugin has CSS, and we need to use a different CSS to display the drop box that we will call the action, and those are the fix, because the AMP plugin, they use a different item. We just need to sign up. For example, when you use a PWA with AMP, there is a component specifically for that, and you need to point this to AMP to say, oh, that's the service worker that you need to use. So for not create an extra one, so you just need to direct to that's the main one.
So it doesn't get confused.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So now let's get our hands dirty with an actual demo.
Let's do it.
So first of all, I'm going to show you how to set up a oneSignal account. Super easy. It's actually free. Of course, we have different tiers, but if you click on pricing, you have free in-app messages, unlimited push subscribers. Push stands for push notifications, and then web push is limited for 10,000 recipients per message. So just keep that in mind. And as you can see, it's very accessible. It's $9, and you can customize it and see what's up. If you want more users, you can increase that. This is actually very cool. I'm happy that this just popped up. As you can see, this pop-up is asking me if I want to be subscribed to the oneSignal notifications, and it's giving me the option of selecting which things I want to be subscribed to. I can select all of them or just a few. Whatever I click on, I'm actually being segmented. So right now, it says blog articles. So by default, I'm gonna be part of two segments. By default, I'm gonna be part of the subscribers segments, and I'm gonna be part of the blog articles segments. So now, oneSignal, every time they publish a new article, they can target me with a push notification, and only for the blog article, because that is the only thing that I'm interested on. oneSignal is not gonna send me a push notification to something that I'm not interested. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're using push notifications, do not abuse them to target people who didn't want to be segmented or be part of certain group. Meaning, for example, if you are in Brazil, you shouldn't be targeting people in Mexico if you don't have to. If you only want to send it to people from Brazil, send it to people from Brazil. Don't spam people. So follow that best practice.
Yeah, and just this functionality it is available at the WordPress plugin as well, or need to
Yes, this is available in the WordPress plugin dashboard. It's part of the WordPress plugin, but this is available in the oneSignal dashboard, so you can customize this information.
Nice.
And of course, you can change this. It doesn't have to say webinar case studies. You can even have it by saying, I don't know, Rio de Janeiro, Brasilia, and so on, right? So you can target people by cities if you want.
And for example, I don't know, that can be a user case. For example, you can add the categories from a blog or a product, or
exactly. So very good question. One day I demoed something. I made like a fake YouTube website, right? And you were able to subscribe to different channels, and then one channel was for React, one channel was for Angular, and one channel was for Vue. So depending on the one that you wanted to be part of, you were being segmented. So yes, you can do that with the blog.
Nice. I think I saw that talk on Well,
awesome.
And just the other question, because for example, what I saw that, for example, the pop-up just appeared when I was at the subscribe page. That's I didn't see the pop-up at the homepage. You can choose where.
Yes, you can choose where to have it displayed, and you can also choose how many seconds you want to have the subscriber pop up to be displayed after. For example, I think by default, if I'm not mistaken, it's 10 seconds, but I like to put it 3 seconds just because I'm very impatient and I want to test things right away. But that's just me, right? But yeah, that's 100% doable.
And you can target by interaction as well, or just by seconds?
If I'm not mistaken, you can do it per page visits as well. But yeah, you can definitely trigger, for example, if someone clicks on certain button, maybe whenever they click login, that a thing appears. Yeah, you can do that as well.
Cool.
So anyways, I'm gonna show you how to create an account. It's very easy. Either you use just your email address and password, or use Google, Facebook, and GitHub. All that information is private. We're not gonna share it, so you're good to go. In my case, I'm gonna do Google and log in with my oneSignal account. And I always forget my password. As you see, I don't remember it.
Yeah,
I'm so bad at this.
I have this problem when I think about the password. I can't type.
Yeah,
it is automatic. Yeah,
because you're like me. You're used to the muscle memory that your fingers just type it.
Type it. Yeah.
And so, anyways, we're here. This is the dashboard. All you have to do whenever you get into the password, the dashboard, is click on New App Website, and then I'm just gonna name it. I don't know. WordPress login demo, fun people, right? You can name it however you want, and then you're gonna select what kind of platform are you gonna be using. In this case, it's gonna be web because I'm gonna be using the WordPress plugin. So I'm gonna click on web, then click on next, and then it gives you the options for typical site, WordPress plugin, or a website builder, custom code. Typical site is usually whenever you have a regular website, that you built on your own, and custom code is the same but for more advanced users. In our case, we're gonna click on the one in the middle because we're using WordPress.
Yeah, and sorry, just one question. And I saw that you have a talk also for doing push notification with React and Vue, and for those frameworks, the option to go is the custom code, or can it be
you can do the custom code, or you can do the typical site setup. But at a certain point, the walkthrough ends, and instead of keep configuring, instead of, for example, installing. So I can actually show you. So I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna put something random. Let's see. I'm just gonna let's see, one website. That's.com. This is not an ad, by the way, guys. I'm not advertising Adidas. This is just the first thing that popped up in my head. As you can see, the default is 10 seconds. And then I'm going to scroll the way up right now. This is just to quick show you the process.
Yeah.
So whenever you reach this section, whenever you're using React, Angular, or Vue, or wherever, you're going to download the oneSignal SDK files, which in this case are the service workers. And instead of using this code, you're going to use our npm package, or npm package for React, or npm package for Angular or Vue. That's up to you. And that's it. That's the only thing that changes. The workflow needs to be updated here. I think they're gonna be working on it soon. So instead of saying add code to site, it should ask you if this is if you're using React, Angular, or Vue, and if you are, then it should take you to the npm page for each technology. But just keep that in mind. Everything is the same until step 6. Step 6, you download the service workers. Then step 7, instead of using add code to the site, if you're using Angular, React, or Vue, you're going to use the npm package.
And
was that clear?
Yes. Yeah. And just one question. One domain can have more than one service worker. Like, for example, I can have, let's say, I have my blog and I have my store at the same domain. They can have different push notification servers, or they need to be.
No, the oneSignal works by domain, so you can only have one service worker, and so essentially what you're seeing right here is I call it WordPress plugin demo from people, but it's the app inside of oneSignal, right? And it works by domain. So if your domain is adidas.com, you can only link that domain into one oneSignal project. If you use the same domain in multiple projects, you might have conflicts. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Even if I define the scope for that PWA, or
that's a really good question. I haven't tried. I don't want to lie to you, so I mean I haven't tried. So that's a special use case. I'll be definitely down to check it out one day, and maybe you and I can play with it, and maybe we'll do a demo or something like that. Should be fun.
Yeah, because that scenario is, for example, just for me a good example. I think I saw 3 times that question. Someone that has like a marketplace. And for example, they have the marketplace from Adidas, and you can sell your products there. So I have my products there. For example, adidas.com/Philippe. I have my store, and we have the adidas.com/Pato, and you have your store, and you wanna kind of like have your one PWA, and people sign up for that. That's only the scope for the question. That
something when you're that inside, you can do in that case, for example, if you want to only target the people from your store and target people from your blog, right? You can segment them. Right?
Yeah, the segment will be the way to go.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, that will be the segment, the way to go. Exactly. And you can even have like the pop-up. You remember the pop-up that just appeared on my screen? You can say subscribe to my blog or subscribe to my store. You can do that.
Nice.
And so what else? So we are, hold on, let's go to settings. And we got that done. Okay. So after you have selected WordPress, you're gonna name your site. In this case, I just name it oneSignal WP site, and then I enter the site URL, which is my local host. Whenever we just keep, this is super important step. Whenever you are doing local hosting, you need to make sure that you click on this option. And the reason is because service workers require your site to be HTTPS. But whenever you're working locally, it's only HTTP. So unless you have a server that somehow mocks HTTPS, well, that's a different story. But just regular normal use case, local hosting uses HTTP. So just make sure that you click in this option. Whenever you publish your website into, I don't know, onesignal.com, you're going to change the site URL to onesignal.com and turn off this option. It will actually do it by default. It will turn it off by default. And then I'm going to click on save. And then all I have to do on this side is grab my Apple key and my app ID that I'm going to be using in my WordPress plugin setup. So how do I set this up? Fairly simple. I'm going to navigate into my beautiful, I'm going to show it to you. It's like so cool. I'm kidding. I'm being sarcastic. This is my super cool PHP WordPress site. Obviously, it has nothing special. But what you have to do is go to plugins and then add new. And then in the search bar, you're going to look for oneSignal. And here's our plugin, right? You're going to click on install, and then you're going to have to activate it. In this case, I already have installed, but those are the steps: install, then activate. So then, after it has been installed and activated, you're going to see this new tab that says oneSignal push. You're going to click on that one. And now what you have to do is set up the configuration for your oneSignal plugin. And how do I do that? The first thing that you have to do is grab the app ID, which you're going to find it in, it's right here. This is the app ID that I'm using. As you can see, it's the same.
Nice.
So I'm just going to put it right next to each other. So you see, it's exactly the same. So I don't think that I'm like tricking you guys. And then the REST API key is this one right here. And that's it. That's all you have to do for the configuration. And then, of course, there's other things that you can do, right? For example, you can show people where to show the notification pop-up. For example, there's a bell, which is the default one that is going to appear on your site. You can change the size, the position, the color. In this case, it's just like red and white. What else you can do? You can customize the prompt, right? And that's essentially the main things that you need to know. You can customize the buttons, right? Like I was saying, you can customize the prompt. It says allow, no thanks, click allow, and all that information. And then you're just going to click on save. And now, as you can see, this is my actual site. And I have this bell right here that says subscribe to notifications. If I click in there, nice, and I do allow, right? Now I'm actually subscribing into these notifications. So I'm going to click on show. So thanks for subscribing, right? That means that I'm actually belonging to a group, which is a segment inside of oneSignal, which is a subscribers segment by default.
Nice.
So the majority of the people who use the subscribers segments is because they want to send a notification, a push notification to all of their users. Why? Because every single user that has subscribed into your site, they belong to the subscribers segment. So far, so good? Was that clear?
Yeah.
Awesome. So now let's go back to oneSignal and let's send a push notification. I'm going to click on finish. Let's test this out. Hopefully it works. Hopefully I didn't break my demo right now.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So that's how you write hola, right? You guys.
Yeah.
But with like an accent, right? I mean, I don't have the accent in this keyword.
Yeah. The Mac is the option E and.
Oh really?
Yeah, option.
Oh.
Yeah. And you type A laughter, and you're gonna get that.
Okay. Option E.
And
what?
Yeah,
I just learned something new.
Portuguese skill now. 10% Portuguese skill.
Wow. This is like the happiest day of my life now.
Yeah. You can put it at LinkedIn now. It's a new language.
Now, as you can see, you can do more customization. For example, you can personalize the tag, right? Like I was telling you. So for example, I mean, I don't really have a tag right now, but you can make sure that the notification says, for example, Olá Pato, right?
Oh, nice.
And why? Because your users have subscribed and you want to give them that personalized user experience. You can add emojis. Who doesn't like emojis? You know, I'm just gonna put, let's see, this one right here because it's called in New York City. Well, Latin America rocks. You can add an image. I don't really have an image right now, but you can put wherever you want. And a launch URL. This launch URL, this is where I was telling you that you can create another more customized experience by sending users to certain parts of your website. If you have a mobile notification, you can even send them to specific parts of your app, which is very cool.
Nice.
So you know, I want to send it to people that have Chrome, Safari, and so on. And you can specify. I'm sorry. Yes.
No, sorry. Because I see that there are loads of options that, for example, those images, they can appear on the card and mailing it. So all the options for the notification API, you can use in that screen or.
Yeah. So basically, doesn't matter if you have Google Chrome, Safari, Edge, or Firefox. You're gonna get the notification, right? Why? Because every time that you subscribe, and I'll show you, it's gonna tell you what kind of user you are, what device are you using.
Okay. Yeah.
So just keep in mind that right now for Safari, it only works for Macs.
Macs, yeah.
For what we mentioned about the iOS situation before, right?
Yeah.
And you can, of course, schedule that. For example, if you want to send a notification in 5 hours, you don't want to be in front of the computer waiting 5 hours and then finally send it, right? You want to choose a specific time and send it or send it immediately, which is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and sorry, can you? And about the time, it is the time zone is like if you select that, you can see the time zone, for example. You can see the time zone. You can have
you can see the time zone. That's actually a really good question. I've never thought about that, but I guess you can see the time zone in there. Something that I forgot to mention is if you go to audience refers to your segments, right? In this case, I'm gonna send the notification to all the subscribed users, which in this case is all my users, or to a specific segment. In this case, my only segment is subscribed users. I don't have one, but you can create custom ones like I was telling you, and just target that particular audience. So I'm gonna click review and send. And then, so there's two people subscribe, which is actually just me. The title, and you can see what platforms I'm gonna be sending the message to. Then I'm gonna click send message. And here's the notification. Hola Pato, Latin America rocks. Do you see it was instant? Cool. It was extremely fast. Keep in mind that sometimes the servers may take a few seconds to send a notification, but essentially it's almost instant. For this case, I was lucky today that it was instant. And it tells you how many people got the message delivered, and you can see people like click on it. In this case, it took me directly to my site by default, unless you put a different URL. What else? Give me a second. You can see the total delivered because sometimes it could be that it fails or people unsubscribe or things like that. Another cool thing that you can do with oneSignal, besides seeing your data in the oneSignal dashboard, you can click on audience. And I'm gonna click on all users. And you can see what kind of device they were using. In this case, it's me, Pato, and I was using a Mac Intel using Google Chrome. So this is how you can target your users.
Nice.
And then if you create custom tags, they will appear right here in the tagging. And the tagging could be, I don't know, people from Brazil or Mexico and so on.
Yeah. And
so that's it. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, just two questions about that. For example, can we use for example, analytics code for see for example, on my Google Analytics that the people came from the notifications, or?
Yes, yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Cool.
And also, that's a very common scenario. There's also other plugins that work with oneSignal, for example, Amplify, and some other that will help you have more metrics.
Nice.
If you need more metrics than the one that oneSignal provides. But yeah, you can do that. For example, this is another thing that you can see: how many sent, how many people clicked. Only one person clicked, which was me. The other person didn't click. So yeah. What else? Any other question? Hopefully that was
can we see, for example, how many people reject the notification, for example, when the pop-ups appear, or not? Just like that,
yes.
We just get the
so give me a second, audience. You mean the which pop-up? The first one?
The first one, yeah.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken,
the subscribe, like the subscribe pop-up done.
So what happens is, I don't exactly remember if you can see that, but you can see how many people unsubscribed. You can see that.
Yeah, the revoke that. Yeah, I saw the revoke. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Journeys, delivery, users. For example, this one says subscribe, right? You can check if someone has unsubscribed. Yes, you can do that. But if I'm not mistaken, you cannot see if people rejected the notification.
Oh yeah, cool. And can you do just a quick demo about the segments?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I'm gonna click on messages, and then I always forget what this is. Now audience. See audience. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So you're gonna click on audience, and then you're gonna click new segment, and then it gives you some default ones, right? For example, the one for countries. If you want to have like this users, a version, and so on. But you can create a custom one. For example, I'm just gonna name it technologies, and then you're gonna click on create segment, and so you're gonna see at the bottom where it is the new segment that I created. And let's see, and then you click edit. If you want to change the kind, you can do that. Yeah, exactly. So for example, user tag. So for example, right now I'm in technologies, right? Maybe I just want to target users that use WordPress.
Yeah.
So the name of my tag will be, I don't know, technology, and the value is gonna be WordPress.
Okay.
You can do that, right? So it's only gonna target. In this case, there's nobody that has subscribed into this segment because I haven't configured that on my site. But yes, you can definitely do that. You can target users who only like WordPress, or users that only like React, and it will tell you real time how many users are currently subscribed into that tagging. So you see how it like changed, for example, view, and it does some refreshing right here.
No.
I don't know if you were able to notice that. So look at this where it says pending.
Yeah, pending.
I'm gonna do Java, for example, and it looks real time how many users are currently subscribed to your Java tag.
Cool.
Yeah,
nice.
And if you go back, for example, you can see the inactive users, people that haven't create a session in a long time. These are like by default, right? For example, even users language from device, you can add Portuguese right here. What other thing you can do? If you go to country, you can select, for example, the country that you like. For example, I'm just gonna do Brazil. So the way to the top. Where's Brazil? Okay, there you go. And then I can add a filter, and you can keep adding filters and filters, right? Maybe you can you only want to target the people from Brazil that have created a session no longer than, I don't know, 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
So it's very customizable, like very customizable.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can add another filter, and that filter is actually, hold on, let's see, add or, right? Maybe is people from Brazil or
Or
people from Afghanistan. I'm just going to leave it from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And then you have, I forgot to change the name, but yeah. But so you see, I'm only going to target people from Afghanistan or people from Brazil that have a first session less than 3 hours ago.
Nice. That's really cool. And just the last question, just before we finish.
Yeah.
What are the best like practice for like a
Bad
push notification?
practices for push notification, I think the main common bad practice is that they spam people. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Like I have mentioned that before. And if you are doing the custom setup, a lot of people have conflicts with the service workers, like we were mentioning before, and sometimes they don't receive the push notifications because the service workers get confused on who's the main, who's the lead service worker, who should I listen to, right? Who's my boss? I think those, and let me remember, and that people you don't do segments. I think that's a very common bad marketing practice by not segmenting people.
Yeah.
Right, because a lot of people, they just want to send as many notifications as possible.
Yeah.
But your marketing campaign is not gonna work if you tell me about the holiday independence offer from Brazil and I'm in Mexico and I received a different link. If that's just not successful, right? But that's less on the technical side. That's more on the marketing side for you guys to follow the best practices.
Yeah, because that's I think sometimes I see the like loads of, for example, a WordPress site that just add at the beginning I used to subscribe, but afterwards just getting like all random like notifications. I was like, oh, that's not. And I think the time it's the frequency can be depends on the user as well, and the type of content as well. Like can be a downside, but like I think it's a great tool for you keep your eye on the audience. That if you do it the right way, that's a really important one.
Yeah, so for example, I'm going to give you an example. Every time that you publish a blog post, you can send your audience a notification, right? And then maybe after a few days, after a few weeks, let's pretend that you usually publish a blog post every week, right? So you let them know, hey, there's a new blog post. Hey, there's a new blog post. And then there's 2 weeks that you didn't publish a blog post. You can still send a push notification to your users. Maybe not letting them know that, hey, I didn't publish a blog post today. No, but could be like, hey, don't forget to check out my article from last month, or my latest article, or maybe you want to increase the views of an article, you didn't get that many views, so you can do that, right?
And just sorry, the last question is I came in my mind.
Hey, bring them
it's
on.
another question, because for example, under notifications, I think you have the option to have 2 options, like yes or no. And can we do that with the?
I think your question is on this settings.
Kind of, you can add actions under the notification API.
Like on the actual push notification?
Yeah, when the push notification came, and you can like have buttons there, or
I don't think that's possible.
yeah, okay.
At least for the ones for oneSignal, but I haven't seen a push notification that allows you to click yes or no.
No, it's only I think it's only Android that has that.
Okay, yeah, but on the web, I don't think I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So I think that I think I answer all the questions, and that content as well. I will just put subtitles later, like for the whole audience follow that, and I will get also clips that will help them. And but we have a few people that enjoyed the live, but I appreciate the questions you came after, and I have your content. I will make the bridge, and thanks for the invite. and I'm very glad that I have you here. And just if someone that wants to follow you,
Yeah, I was
and
actually sharing my screen on that.
yeah,
I forgot. Yeah.
just
So that's my Twitter, Pato,
cool.
and that's the Twitter for oneSignal developers. Feel
Mhm.
free to follow us and join the developers community. And the developers community is a group of equal-minded people that we love technology. We like to support open source because oneSignal is an open source project.
Mhm.
And if you have questions about JavaScript, Ruby, Rust, PHP, we have channels in our Discord server that we can answer the questions for you. And if we don't know the answer, maybe someone from our community knows the answer. So feel free to definitely check us out on Twitter and join our Discord server. You're more than welcome to do so and contribute to the oneSignal project. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. And what is the next one? Like you have, I think you have mentioned that you have a few talks this week. So
I have tomorrow a talk for Kung Fu Montreal, which I'm super sad because it's supposed to happen in person in Montreal in Canada. But for obvious reasons, because of COVID, I'm not going to be there. And I'm going to be talking about level up your CSS using Tailwind. And the other one, which is a paid event, but the other one that is going to be free is going to be on Thursday for JS and Friends Conf, but it's a meetup and it's free. And I'm going to teach people how to integrate push notifications using React and oneSignal. So if you like React, check us out. I'll be there. I'm going to put the information in my Twitter account for you guys to join. And other than that, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I think that's all. We also I stream on LinkedIn as well, and some of the questions I just got from my personal. I have my WhatsApp here, and so my friends was like saying, "Now I'm just translating here," and that's why I was like, make the questions, and yeah, so that's why the like the YouTube we didn't have, but like I have the people like doing the bridge here, but that's it. So. Thank you so much.
Awesome. No, thank you so much for your time and all your questions. I love questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I just need to check. There is one last thing. Probably we're gonna put it like offline, but I was checking the translation for the plugin. Yeah, I think I will create I was saying I will create a
for
request
Portuguese.
Yeah. To do the internationalization because I think that only the Redmi it's now it is available. I was checking that today. Yeah. So we're gonna talk later about that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving me the time and let me talk about me, oneSignal, push notifications, PWAs, and service workers. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. So
see
you guys until next time. Bye.
Bye.